The Division 2 are doing tips and tricks. This is aimed more towards new people, but there might be some interesting information for those that are more experienced with the game as well. So yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of this, trying to work through it and work through it quickly. But first of all, I would like to mention, pacing-wise, it is worth it to really take your time and just sort of experience the game and all that it has, because there are so many little things and stuff that you can do. So first off, everything kind of gives you XP and stuff like that. We're going to break things down. So main missions, this is what they look like when they're finished. You can play them, stuff like that. See the blue one? That's kind of what they look like when they're fresh. You can go to the actual place and you can press Y or console equivalent, and you can matchmake. If you've been there, you can fast travel to it. If you have a friend that you're playing with, or just if you're in a party playing with others, you can actually fast travel to people too. So if someone's like close to an area that you've never been to and you don't have a fast travel point, use them as a fast travel point. Very helpful. At any point, you can kind of just matchmake with others, which is kind of great. It feels very intuitive and it works very well. Then we go on to side missions, which are these little things, and they give you a pretty decent XP boost, pretty good. It's suggested that you save those more for your later levels just because of how much you get out of them. And they do change and level up with you as you go. Settlements are important. It's kind of where you go to buy things and deal with stuff. You still always go to the main headquarters here for good stuff like that, for dealing with points and everything. Because you are able to level up your character, and we're going to go over that in a sec. So you can go here in the tab, and you can go to matchmaking. You can matchmake for all kinds of things. You can do bounties. You can do dark zones, where you go in. Those are the PvP sections. And open world exploration, random activities. You can find people just to kind of do whatever with. It's very good at being specific in the sense that you can do something you need to do, like matchmake for a specific level if you're trying to work through it, or if you just want someone to go and chill with and stuff like that. So this is the projects tab. So you see the projects inside, basically the locations, the settlements, but you can actually kind of donate and deal with them at any point just from this section here. So they're very good to work on the projects because you do get pretty good bonuses from it when you do them. So it's definitely suggested that you work through it. Here's conflict. This is the PvP area. You just do this right from the map menu option here and jump into some competitive play if you'd like to. I personally don't care, but you know, it was kind of cool. It's fun. And then we tap over here and we can see a legend. This gives you the full details of the map and the icons and everything like that, so you have an idea of what you're doing if you want to jump into that section. So we're going to jump into the menu here. You can create a clan, and you get bonuses if you get actual clan going. You can see your progression for missions, and you can do your character stuff. It's a good idea to always level everything up. You get an exclamation point when there's something new. Now, you don't necessarily want to delete everything you have. If you do want to save space, hold in the right stick or console equivalent or platform equivalent, I guess, and you can recycle it for scraps. But the reason I say save some of your stuff is you can actually donate it to projects, and you can use it in those projects in order to kind of progress how much you have of them. Keep in mind your inventory is limited, and you kind of basically level it up by going in and spending the skill points, which is something we're going to cover in a sec here. Just kind of showing off some of the inventory elements. You're also able to edit your particular items. So these are the skill things that you unlock from the Quartermaster, which we're going to go over in a sec. But during combat, as long as it's not on a cooldown, you can actually switch between what you have your particular items, kind of equipped with. So I can make my drone like a fixer drone, and then it fixes things. Personally, I suggest just having the basic. I mean, the choice is up to you. And I rock the turret and the drone because I find them the most helpful. My drone is my best friend in this one. It is a huge addition and a huge help during combat. At least I personally think so. So yeah, generally keep your weapons updated. These are caches, but I've just got highlighted here. I don't have any right now, but you open them up and they kind of give you level equivalent gear, which is really helpful. You can also mod items and everything like that if you're really in depth with it. And yeah, and you can see your resources if you go over to this tab, and we'll go over here. This is like your apparel, and there's a whole store, and you can do emotes. So to do emotes, you hold down on the D-pad, and then you just go over it, and you press the A button to play it, or platform equivalent. And then you do emotes because they're, a fun, silly kind of thing to do with your friends if you want to. Social, you can instantly kind of like see your friends, everything like that, and call for backup. It's just kind of like a nice extra management unit. And there's raids here too in this area that's coming in a free update, so head of the curb on that one, which is kind of cool. So we're going to jump in here. We're going to show off the Quartermaster. It's kind of an important area. He's down at the bottom section. And here you'll get skill points. You get a ton of skill points. You get these main skill unlocks. which are the yellow ones. I really don't care. And then you also get SHD Tech, and that's how you level up these skills, which give you extra grenades that you can use, extra healing things. I definitely suggest working on the particular accolades kind of skill tree and getting this one done first. It gives you extra rewards for like headshots, killing multiple enemies, XP bonuses, and it's just like a big extra kind of passive perk. All these are passive perks. You don't have to like equip them. They're just there in the background. It's just a bonus onto your character. Some of them are locked behind certain levels, like this one requires 30 to get to the next tier, but you get the idea of it just in regards to keeping these leveled up. They're very important. They're going to make your character more powerful and stronger. Here's your stash. You know, kind of an essential area. If you have mail, RB over, you can see your deliveries and your grants in case you got like Uplay stuff. There are actually some pretty cool Uplay items, so I suggest going there. Some of them are free too. And you can just throw stuff in your stash if you'd like to as well, just to hold on to things in case you're kind of getting over encumbered with items like my character is, because I've been neglecting that. Here are the projects, but again, you can kind of do it anywhere. This is just like a fancier menu to kind of view it. Yeah, I thought that was good to highlight. So cool, we're gonna jump into something so that we can basically just play with others and kind of go over combat and stuff like this. We'll do random activity. And then you matchmake, and then it'll prompt you if you want to join in, and you'll load into their world really fast. It is a seriously quick load, which is super impressive. Yeah, you just hold it down, you get in there, and sometimes it gives you options to fast travel to people, but that doesn't always seem to work. So, yeah. Kind of cool. Let's get a quick load here, just showing it off. Pretty fast. I'm on the 1X, so it's native 4K. It's gorgeous. HDR, very good implementation. It's quite impressive in that regard. Yeah, you can also find lots of little items in the game too. I kind of didn't go over that. Collectibles on the map and stuff. Let's just open these up. So yeah, there's so many hidden things that you can kind of just take in if you're going around the world. And you can see like resources that you need, and it's just a very in-depth map. Cool, so as we can see, like I mentioned earlier, you can fast travel right to people. See, hold X on this person, I go right to them. But I'm not going to be lazy, I'm going to walk to get there. I will mention when you're walking, keep your eyes open, because you're usually getting attacked, and you may think you're able to run away from people, but you get shot in the back and you die. You can slide over hoods if you run at them and you press B. That was kind of bad. Let's see if I can do it with this one. I think it's an achievement. God damn it. And if you can't run and do it, you can click on it and then you can press B, and then you kind of get it. That counted for the achievement when I went to do it. Thought I would mention that. And every area is split up into zones for different levels, and there's dark zones, and you have to do like a mission in order to unlock them. So these all have like level caps, but I went through them. You're kind of seeing the style here, just so you know what level you are when you're going into particular areas. It does lock you from matchmaking if you're too low of a level, just so you know that. What are we doing right now? Are we doing like a hunt or something? So the world is filled with kind of activities. There's control points, there's bounties, there's all kinds of little side activities you can do, which is just fantastic for like playing around and having lots of content. The game is just stuffed with content. And when you're kind of moving through areas, the orange kind of icon is your guide. It lets you know exactly where you're going. You're constantly getting details of things, suggestions you should do in the bottom left. Top left is your map. It'll tell you kind of an indication where enemies are too. You'll get a clear red indicator what direction enemies are coming from. Super helpful. And then RB. The right bottom, yeah, which I guess is RB technically, kind of has your squad information, so you can see how much armor they have, how much health they have, and their kind of needs. And then you see floating center is kind of like ammo detail and everything like that. Very easy to understand. You can just press B to kind of vault over things. When you are climbing, usually an indicator of where you need to climb is like a yellow kind of tarp you'll see, and that means you can climb up it. But don't be afraid to climb up other areas, because you actually can climb many things in this game. So don't be afraid to try to find a higher vantage point. And usually when you're getting places, there are multiple ways of doing so, so don't be afraid to kind of move outside of the line, because you might discover something neat, or get a different way to go somewhere, a new flanking path and stuff like that. Although I think in this particular situation, it was not a good idea to kind of go this way. No, it's fine. Okay, we're good. Cool. So we're going to jump into combat in a sec here, so I stop running into an object, just so we can kind of show this off. Keep in mind you've got multiple weapons that you can have. When it comes to weapons, it's really about preference, I think. Finding something that you're comfortable with and you like to use. I'm really rocking the AKs, which have like a really large kind of spray at the start, and then they get more focus, which is nice. But again, the decision is really up to you what you want to use. You know, in regards to basically weapons, and I just play around with them, try new things, because you can get better versions over time, and you can keep switching it up, and the choice is kind of yours. So we're going to jump into combat in a sec here. I suggest letting everyone kind of get ready before you fire, but when you do start combat, look for explosive cannons. There's usually a lot of fire ones, so you want to hit that, plus shoot guys as fast as possible, because you get a deeper damage input when you are doing that. And there's loot everywhere in the world. There's like crates and everything just to the side that you can often get loot from, which is insanely helpful. So this is a cover game. Use cover. It's not Call of Duty. You know, sit in cover, use cover, move around cover. You get a clear A indicator. So we're gonna kind of, oh god, that's a bad spot. We're gonna show that off in a sec here, assuming I don't die. So your health bar, that's important, and then you have an armor bar. When your health is kind of low, I suggest using this as a quick way to kind of boost your health up. You can clearly get indicators of where you're going. So you're seeing the A button highlight there, and you can hold it just to do like a sort of auto run. And you can also shift positions on cover easily. We're a little stacked up because there's so many people for like a little tiny sandbag, but you can move along it naturally without even getting into damage. You can blind fire, so if somebody's getting close to you, that's a good way to do so without getting yourself kind of in the line of fire and getting shot at, which is super helpful. Aside from that, grenades are very good for kind of dispersing enemies. They're dealing with kind of like big guys. I use them as more of a distraction thing because they get my targets out in the open so that I can shoot at them. Revive your teammates, work together, it's very important. But if your teammates do die and it's like a respawn zone, it's sometimes better just to let them respawn because it's like a 30-second timer, and then they just come back from a little bit position further behind you. If you are down, you can crawl. So crawl yourself over to your teammates in order to let them kind of revive you, because then you know you don't want them to put them in danger. And you can do so from quite a distance. You can hold X while you're still behind cover in order to save yourself. Your character will also keep standing for a second before they go down, so just keep that in mind if you are getting shot at, that it does take a second before your character actually goes down in a leaning position in order to do the revive. Work together, communicate, and that's kind of the essentials to it. If you're having troubles finding where you're supposed to go, which like sometimes during missions, I'm like, what am I doing? Sometimes you have to shoot padlocks to open doors. Sometimes you have to shoot kind of like these electrical boxes in order to open doors. They're kind of yellowish. And sometimes you need to actually use like a rope, and you'll find those in elevator shafts and stuff like that, and you just tap B and you climb up them. Usually everything is highlighted, so you get this orange kind of color letting you know where you're supposed to go. And these are kind of interaction points, which are very helpful. And yeah, generally, there's just like a lot to this game. When you're fighting the heavier enemies, oh yeah, here's the stash. We'll talk about this first. These are where you keep your kind of ammo up and everything like that. Very important. When you're fighting the bigger enemies, you can actually break down certain parts of them. And there's an achievement, I think, for like breaking off each part. But that will allow you to damage them further, because once the ammo is broken down, you're in a critical point from which you can just shoot the soft spots and kill them very quickly. Purple guys are tougher, so are yellow. Yellow are like super tough. You'll definitely want to focus and work together. If they're shooting a grenade launcher, keep yourself moving so that you're not in one spot, because that will do devastating damage to you. It's crazy. So once you reach each checkpoint, your armor will actually regenerate. So save your armor if you're near towards the end of a firefight. Again, red things great for firing. Purple guys deadlier. Kind of ridiculous. You gotta be careful. This game, not as much in this one, but the first one was like super kind of surprise you. So there'll be moments where you're like, okay, everything's done, and you'll run up, and then enemies will come flying out. So when you're finished an area, or you feel like you're finished an area, you might want to sit there for a second and wait to make sure that there's no more enemies rushing in to destroy you. And we're going to move into accessories. So we got a turret buddy here. You can actually hold down the turret option, and you can throw your little buddy. I suggest throwing it to like an elevated position, like say on top of this, and your turret will go. And that way you don't have to put yourself in line of fire, and you get your turret in a better position. You can tap RB on certain enemies in order to focus on certain ones and make them easier. I like to combine my fire with this, but what I personally do is throw a drone up and I do like a rush attack, and I can shoot and have that confidence because my drone is supporting me while I'm firing it. You can hold the button that you use to kind of throw it, to blow it up, and you'll actually get a shorter respawn timer if you do it at a certain point. Otherwise, it's a little bit longer. So we throw up our drone. Drone's super helpful. You can send the drone out. Does like all the work for you. I like to fight with my drone side by side, kind of doing like a fast rush move technique like I was mentioning. But you can just send the drone and it'll go and do its thing. Super helpful. And yeah, I love the drone. I think it's possibly like the best sort of thing in this. But again, that's like a personal thought too. You might like seeker drone, like grenades and stuff more. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you how to do your side abilities because, I mean, that is completely up to you, right? And it kind of like centers around you. It wants to be focused near you. So you may need to keep tapping in order to get it to keep going and like highlighting and targeting new enemies to go fight, right? So that's kind of cool. And yeah, generally it's not too hard to do combat. I'm being kind of lazy and letting my teammates do it. I've already done this mission, so I really don't care. And I'm mainly trying to focus on giving you guys like good tips on everything like that in regards to actually shooting and fighting and you know, kind of being helpful. If you do have like the fixer on the drone, you can actually tell it to go and heal teammates if you'd like to. Blow it up so it gets on that timer. I mean, the decision is, of course, up to you how you want to use it, because it can be helpful if you're healing yourself. And that's the extra abilities. So blue things, these are usually items. You'll see green ones too. Kind of good to pick up. I definitely suggest going there because you'll also get materials. Like I think that was like steel. Yeah, +3 steel. And you see them on the bottom left, which is helpful for your projects and other kind of things that you do in the game. You know, stuff like that. So weapon and armor crates have a 24-hour respawn in case you were wondering, and the big yellow crate and control points will respawn each time you capture a control point yourself. And yeah, again, going to the side here, you might find little crates in that you can loot for items, and they are super helpful in order to do stuff. And usually you get an idea where you're going based on the orange positioning on the actual map. Hey there. So you know where to go. I guess we're just kind of chilling out. Oh, white is usually like ammo or quick little helpful things that you can find. You just kind of run over those. But if you get like weapons or gear, you actually have to hold whatever it is, either if you want to equip it or you want to just throw it in your inventory. And you can run, but I do suggest like kind of just walking through the world, if that makes sense. A more casual pace it's like you're less likely to get kind of surprise shot. Again, using the fire with guys. And there's like a weird thing where enemies love to jump down. I think that puts them in a great vulnerable point for you to quickly shoot them as they're falling, so kind of lead their fall. They're very stupid, so, well, they're not totally stupid, but, you know, they're not the brightest kind of enemies I've ever had to fight, but, yeah. But just generally, take your time, look through the world. There's always like loot and stuff that you can find anywhere, like a restock point. Restock's super helpful. Keep your ammo up. Sometimes you have like really spongy scenes, other times it's a little bit lighter on combat. So you just gotta be careful. Yeah, the ladder sections. And you can use ladders at the same time. Kinda cool, right? God, these worlds are just absolutely gorgeous. So generally cover, like, be smart. I mean, they're big areas, right? You got your teammates going there. Maybe I go this way and I flank around. But use your cover. Another thing, if you're not playing with others, oh, that was some horrible shooting. What I like to do is I'll throw my turret one way, and then I'll go a different path. So I'll throw it here, and you can move while you're throwing it too. And then I'll go around this way, and then the turret will shoot from that side while I shoot from this side. And that's mostly for when you're doing individual combat. But you can use it too if you're working with a squad. I find rolling is super helpful if you're getting shot at. It'll really, seriously, it'll lessen the likelihood of you dying, which is a huge help, obviously. And I've escaped some big situations that were really bad just from rolling around. Blow that up, I accidentally threw that down. And you know, don't be afraid to use your grenades and your armor. You get like just a ton of this, you know. It seems very common in the game. I should mention that cosmetics are shared across all your characters, so if you unlock those, kind of cool. I also wanted to mention, aside from just shooting these red things, some of the characters also have that on their person. You can shoot those for very good critical damage. I believe I didn't quite mention that. And I'd also like to mention that shooting near an enemy will actually create a suppression effect where they can't shoot at your teammates, and then you can actually get someone to flank around, or you can have a drone come in and shoot them while they're not. Well, basically while they're suppressed. So suppression is basically the act of keeping someone out of combat, just kind of like shooting at them, trying to get it. They'll actually pop up and say, yeah, suppressed, when they are suppressed. So you're not necessarily wasting ammo because you're giving your teammates an advantage on them. So you're seeing the big yellow guys, those are the ones with the armor that are super powerful. And you can like chip away at it sometimes as you break it down. And they'll become a little bit easier to shoot. So yeah, oh, there's the ammo kind of, well, not the ammo, but the armor type of drone in action, helping me out, which is kind of nice. And you can just tap to have your turret up as well for shooting. You don't necessarily have to throw it, in case that wasn't clear. Oh, it's gone. No, we got both the guys rocking it at the same time. It's pretty intense. If you're downed, like you're dead, the revive is a lot longer, so just be prepared for that if you are saving somebody that is downed. So we're going to try to use the cover thing and revive somebody from a distance, so you actually get a good safety from here. Yeah, but the echoes and the kind of radios, good little XP things, cool little things to build up the narrative. There's a wealth of content in this game. There's like a lot going on in this. And it's a very beautiful kind of world to just kind of take in and, you know, enjoy, right? I mean, don't really rush through it. I think there's a little bit more value in the game if you do kind of take your time with it and have fun. Play with others, definitely suggest it. I've played like every mission I can with other people because I think there's more value in that. And it's just kind of like a better time when you work with others. I don't know. I just find it more fun. And people actually seem to really work together in this one, and they, you know, actually work as a team, which is nice. The end game has a ton of content to it, like just like an absolute wealth of it. It's ridiculous. I say that going off of like the materials I have. Oh, you can press in the right stick or platform equivalent, and you can actually punch if guys are near you. Totally forgot that. It's super helpful because you might be sitting there like, can I hit people? You can. Click on the stick. Nice hit. Right? Super great. And I hope these were helpful. I covered a lot. I'm sure there's a lot more to this game too. There's so much to cover in this one. It's just ridiculous. But I hope you did find this helpful and that you enjoy playing the Division 2.